Hi, I'm Travis Monson with the Once Upon a Board Game. Today I want to teach you how to play a great little game called Project L. Now this is a game that's been around for a while. We've had this for a few years now, and it's one that we've just really enjoyed. First of all, the production quality is just phenomenal, right? Gorgeous components, super tactile, really awesome. I'll do a little unboxing to show you what it looks like. But this is one that the pieces are awesome. But if you like, Tetris-y, puzzle-y games at all, you'll really enjoy this. You're basically laying tiles to complete little puzzles, and as you complete puzzles, you score points, and you get additional puzzle pieces to use to complete even more puzzles. It kind of has this chain reaction. You get more and more pieces, so you can complete puzzles faster and faster, and the game just kind of snowballs, and then it ends quick. And the original game was 1 to 4 players. Then there's some expansion content that made it up to 5 or 6 players as well. The games are quick, probably half an hour. It's a lot of fun. And I mention this right now because this traditionally was a game that was kind of hard to get. It didn't have super wide distribution. It wasn't available for purchase in a lot of places. But right now, there's a Kickstarter for this game, as well as kind of the subsequent kind of sequel game called Square One. So these are on Kickstarter right now if you're so inclined. I wanted to do a video in case you're on the fence or thinking about it. You can at least see how they play, or if you have the games and you want to learn. But they're awesome. We love them. Let me show you how it works. Okay, as I said, I'm going to be teaching how to play the game Project L. Now, I wanted to do just kind of a quick unboxing to show these awesome components. This is the all-in collector's edition, from a previous Kickstarter. But got the rulebook, of course, player mats. So this all-in edition, it has basically all the expansion content. It's got the regular game and the finesse and the ambassador packs and all that kind of stuff. So it's got a couple of trays with all the pieces. It's got a tray with the finesse tiles and the coins, as well as those little stones you use if you're doing the special rules for a 5 or 6 player game. And then it's got space for all these mission tiles. And so here's what you get in the box. Now let me show you how it gets set up and how you play. Okay, this is set up for a 2-player game. And let's talk about setup really quick. First of all, I just want to point out I've got a tray with all the pieces. Well, there are 2 of those trays. With just a 2-player game, I don't think I'll need them all, so I just have 1 for now. Okay. Each player also is going to need a player mat. One of the player mats does have first player written on it, so make sure you grab that one, and then just 1 per player. Mix them all up, of course. Deal them all out to everybody. Whoever ends up with that first player will, of course, be the start player. Okay. Then you'll see in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little reminder. Each player starts with a single yellow level 1 piece and a single green level 2 piece. So give everybody their starting pieces, and then you're going to fix the display. Okay, there's 2 different types of puzzle cards or puzzle tiles. There's the white ones and the black ones. With the white ones, you just take all of them. Take all of them, mix them all up, and make a display of 4. Okay. With the black puzzle tiles, you take a certain number based on player count, because the black puzzle tiles is kind of the game end timer. When this draw pile runs out, the game is going to end. Well, it triggers the end of the game, and then there's a final round. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Okay. There's a little table in the rule book. For instance, in a 2-player game, we use 12 of the black tiles. Okay. And you use more in a 3 or 4-player game, or even more in a 5 or 6-player game. Okay. So we've got the 12 black tiles, and then again, we put 4 out in the display, just like with the white ones. So here's some of the extra ones that we're not using. I just want to point these out, though. Talk about puzzle tiles for a second. All of them are these awesome dual layer tiles, so you can put the little puzzle pieces in there, and they don't slide around. They're super nice. But then each tile also has information regarding how many points it's going to be worth, and then the reward. In other words, when I complete this puzzle, I'm going to get all those pieces back for use again. In addition, I will get a bonus piece, from the supply. Okay, so each tile is going to have what it's going to give you in points. Some of them don't score any points, right? But you'll see if they're going to score any points, and then what you're going to get as a reward for completing that puzzle. That's what all the puzzle tiles look like. Okay, so I'll just set those ones aside. So with that said, you're ready to play, right? You got your player mat, your starting pieces, and your display of white and black puzzle tiles, and your supply of the pieces. So how does the game work? Well, beginning with the start player, you're going to take your turn. On your turn, you get to do 3 actions. We'll talk more about that in a second with looking at the player mat. Once your turn is done, it goes to the next player, and so on. You just keep taking turns, keep going around the table taking turns with your 3 actions per turn until the game end is triggered. When this black draw pile is gone, okay, so when that happens, like that for instance, that triggers the end of the game. So you finish the current round, and then you play 1 final round, okay? So everybody's going to have the same number of turns. okay? Once you have, completed the round in which the black tiles ran out and then played one additional round, then the game is going to be over. So you will get one last chance to do finishing touches, which I'll talk about, when I talk about game end scoring. Basically, at a penalty of points, you can put additional pieces on your tiles to try and complete puzzles, okay? I'll talk about that with scoring. But you do some finishing touches and then you add up your score. Basically, you're going to score points for all the tiles you've completed. You will lose points for the tiles that you took but did not complete. Okay, that's important too. So don't take too many near the end of the game. Okay, and then, you can lose some points if you do some of those finishing touches, but I'll mention that with scoring. Okay, but again, highest score wins, right? So like I said, you take your turn with 3 actions, then it goes to the next player, and so on until this draw pile runs out of the black mission tile specifically, and then finish that round and play one final round, add up your final scores, and highest score wins. Okay, so let's zoom in at one of the player mats and talk about what a turn looks like and what you can do, what those 3 actions are. Okay, so let's talk about a turn of the game. On your turn, and it's even summarized right here, you get to take 3 actions, okay? And your actions that you can choose from are listed here on your player mat. And you can do the same action multiple times. You can do maybe action A, then B, then back to A. You can do them in whatever order, however you want, with one notable exception. That's the master action that you can only do once per turn. I'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, so what are the actions? So one thing you can do is the take action. In other words, if you remember that display we just set up of the white and the black puzzles, you can simply take a puzzle from the display or from the face down draw pile and add it to your your player mat in front of you. Okay, you can see there's little outlines for up to 4 puzzles that you can be working on. So you are limited to 4 puzzles at a time. So if you already have 4 puzzles that are not complete yet, you cannot take the take action again. You have to do something else. Okay, but you could, for instance, just do boom, 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 take 3 puzzles. That's my whole turn. That's just an example of what you could do. Next is the recycle action. The recycle action, basically, if you're looking at the display of the white or the black puzzles and there's nothing there that you like, then you basically kind of wipe the slate clean. You take all 4 of, you choose which stack area, which display you want to choose from, whether the white puzzles or the black puzzles. Take all 4 of those puzzles, put them at the bottom of its respective stack, and then put out 4 new ones. Okay, so that's what you can do with a recycle action. Next is the upgrade action. If you remember, you start with a level 1 yellow and a level 2 green pieces. And then you can see that there's other pieces in the game. So with an upgrade, you basically get to make it a better piece. So you could, for instance, just take an additional level 1 yellow piece. That could be one upgrade action. Just take a simple level 1 yellow. Or conversely, you could say, I'm going to upgrade one of my pieces. Maybe I'm going to upgrade my yellow into another green, for instance. Or maybe I'm going to say, I'm going to upgrade my level 2 green into a level 3 blue one. Or maybe later on I'll level my level 3, I'll upgrade into a level 4. You get the gist. You can also, as part of this upgrade action, basically just take a different piece of the same size, or you can even downgrade if you want. There are certain occasions and certain instances in the game when you may want a piece that's smaller. That's all part of that upgrade action. Okay, either take a new piece, increase in size, or even decrease or switch within the same size. Okay, those are all some of your options. Okay, there is one notable kind of exception. One of those rare case rules where if you're trying to do an upgrade action and literally all of the pieces of that next size in the entire game have already been taken and there's none available, you can basically bypass it and skip it to the next level. So for instance, if I want to upgrade a level 2 and all of these level 3 pieces in the whole game are gone, I can just bypass that and take a level 4 instead. Okay, but the upgrade action, again, it gives you a lot of flexibility. Get a bigger piece or a different piece of the same size or even downgrade. That's the upgrade action. Next is the place action. Okay, with a place action, you simply take a piece and you put it in one of your puzzles. That's it. Super simple. Okay, not very efficient though. Doing it one piece at a time with only 3 actions per turn, it may take a while to get some of your puzzles filled. Which is why the master action is great. Because with the master action, for one single action, you take one piece in each puzzle. Okay, you can choose to not do all of the puzzles. Maybe you don't have enough pieces for every single puzzle, but you can do up to 1 piece per puzzle. Okay, that you have still in your display in front of you. That's the master action. And again, that's the one you can only do once per turn. There are some additional actions here at the bottom. These ones in the blue, the ambassador, the ghost, and the insert. Those are some of the rules for some of the expansion content. So I won't go into that right now. Maybe I'll talk about some of the expansion stuff at the end of the video. But, that's what your choices are. You get 3 actions per turn, and these are your choices of what actions to do. Okay, well, let's start playing. I won't play through the whole game. I'll play for a few turns so you can kind of get the feel for what the game is like, and then maybe I'll fast forward to show you how the game is going to score with those finishing touches I was just talking about. Okay, so with me being the start player, I go first. I've got nothing to work on, so of course I need to take puzzles, to get started. So my first action, my first of 3, will be, how about I take this one, okay? And again, I could just draw blind. You can't look before you draw, but you can always draw blind. But I'll take that. That'll be one of my puzzles I'm working on. So I refill the display. Then, let's see. I'll take another one. Maybe I will take this one, okay? So that's 2 actions. I took, and I'll refill the display, okay? And then for my final action, I will do a master action, okay? Where I get to place one puzzle piece in each puzzle, or one of my little tiles in each puzzle that I'm working on. So of course I'm going to put this one here because that'll complete it. And then this one I will put there. Now I do want to point out that once you add a piece to one of your puzzles, it's set, okay? You cannot choose to later move it somewhere else, okay? So sometimes people like to kind of play with the pieces, kind of put it, see where it would work best, and feel free to do that if you can't, visually see without putting it there. But you can play with it. But once you've decided, once you've set it there, it is set. You can't later go and move it to a different location. Okay. So again, quick summary: I took a tile, and I did a master action where I put one piece in each tile. Okay. So those are my 3 actions. Okay. But you'll notice I completed a puzzle. So whenever you complete a puzzle, a couple of things immediately happen. First of all, you take all the pieces that were part of that puzzle piece and you get them back. Okay, you can use them again on future turns. You will also get a bonus of whatever's in the top right corner of the tile. So this gives me an extra little level 1 yellow piece. And then, of course, you put your tiles just off to the side to show. And of course, I'll score those at the end of the game. Okay, so that was my turn. And then it would go to Allie. Allie, again, also has no pieces. So she will, she will take this one. She will take one puzzle, and then she will just, for one action, she will play a piece, and for her third action, she will play another piece. Okay, so I took 2 and then played one action of the master action. She took 1 and played 2. So we spent our 3 actions a little bit differently, but you get the gist. Okay, again, she completed a puzzle, so she gets these pieces back, in addition to another level 2 green, and then this is complete. Okay, so that's her turn. Oh, I forgot to reset the display. Okay, then it's back to me. So again, I would like to be able to put multiple pieces all at the same time. So I need to get some more puzzles. So first of all, and you'll notice, the black ones, of course, they're worth more points, but they're also a lot bigger and they take more pieces to complete, which is why, and again, this is the game end trigger when this draw pile runs out. Okay, so for my first piece, let's see, maybe I'll take, it'd be nice to get a nice long straight one. So I'll take that one. And then, you know what? I'll do this, right? So that was action number 1, and I'll refill the display. Action number 2, I'm going to do that master action, and I will put this one here and this one here, okay? So I pause momentarily. I still have 1 action to spend, but since I completed a puzzle, we pause for a second. I get those pieces back, and additionally, I get that additional piece from the supply, and that one's complete now. And now I still have 1/3, 1 final action because I only spent 2. I took 1 and I did a master action, so I get 1 more. So for my last one, maybe I will take another tile. Let's see, maybe I'll just take this one. Sure, why not? Okay, and then refill the display. Okay, so those are my 3 actions. Back over to Allie. She's got no puzzle since she completed 1 last turn, so she needs to take something. So she would like to get, she'd like to get a nice long straight piece as a reward. But that's not going to be easy to fill. She's got just small pieces. So maybe she'll also take this one. Okay. She'll try and get a couple of those big, long, straight pieces. We'll see how that's going to work for her. Actually, instead of that one, maybe she'll take this one instead to get a different shape. So that piece will go there, or that tile will go there. Okay. So she took twice, and now she's going to do one of those, master actions. So maybe she'll put this here, and she'll put this here. This is probably going to take her a little while. Ooh, I probably made a very poor choice with Allie. Sorry, I'm not really thinking this through very strategically. I'm just kind of playing off the cuff here. So I apologize. You're probably criticizing me while you're watching. Okay, that was Allie's turn, right? She took, and did a master. Were her 3 actions. Back over to me. Let's see. I've got 3 pieces. Oh, do I want to just... I could do a very inefficient turn. I'm just going to do 3 single place actions. There's one, there's one, there's one. I would have liked to have done a master action, but I really wanted to get that done. Okay, so all 3 of my actions were just placing 1 piece at a time, but I complete this. So I'm going to get this size 4 bonus piece, and then I get those back, and this is complete. That was my turn. Back over to Allie. Allie's got just a single yellow. She's not going to be able to complete any of those with what she's got. So she's going to do a little, couple of upgrade actions here. So first of all, she will, for 1 upgrade, for her first action, she's going to get another little yellow. Then she's going to upgrade one of those into a green. Okay, and then she will upgrade a green into, how about we do, into this one, into that level 3. So she just did 3 straight upgrade actions. Again, not very exciting. Again, you're probably criticizing me, laughing at home. Whoa, he's dumb. He made poor choices. Oh well, I'm just playing quick, kind of off the cuff here. All right, back over to me. I've got a nice piece like this that will help me with, which one do I want? Maybe let's get one of these black ones here. Maybe now's a good time to talk about this. I mentioned right up front that the black puzzle tiles are basically the game end timer. When this draw pile is gone, that triggers the end of the game. There is one thing I didn't mention up front, but I want to clarify. When the game end is triggered, okay, from then on, for the remainder of that round and for the one final round, with the take action, you are limited to no more than 1 of the black puzzle tiles. Just because they're worth more points and it's so close to the end of the game, it's only fair. You can't hoard them all, right? So once the game end is triggered, once this pile is gone, you are limited to only 1 black tile per turn. Now, it does specifically say that tile does not go into effect, or that rule does not go into effect until the game end is triggered. So it could be that on your turn, you've already taken a black one and that triggered the end of the game. But then so once it's triggered, then you could still possibly take another black tile if you get what I'm saying. Okay, but once the game end is triggered, you can only take 1 of these black tiles per turn. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. All right, so I've got some big pieces finally. So let's get one of these black tiles. Maybe let's try this one over here. Okay, so for my first action, I did a take. Then let's try a master action. I think for my first master placement, for my 1 per turn, I'm going to do that with my master action. So again, I did a take, then I did a master, and then, you know what? I'm going to upgrade this yellow into a green. Okay, and that was my 3 actions. So back over to Allie. Allie is going to want to play this guy here, and she will, she's still going to need more. She's going to upgrade this into a green for her second action, and for her third action, she will take another yellow. Really exciting. Back to me. For my first master action, I'm going to do a master action. I will put that there, and I will put this here. Okay? So boom, I completed this puzzle. Okay, so this one comes back. I get one of these level 3 straight pieces. This one's done. So that was just 1 action. I did my master action. My second action, I'm going to put this here. My third action, I will put this here. Okay, so I completed this puzzle as well. So the reward is I get another green, and I get these ones back. So you see, like, quickly over a few turns, you can start getting a bunch of pieces, right? Then, of course, it's managing that, upgrades, trades, all that kind of stuff. The upgrade, you can trade to a different type of the same size and whatnot. Okay, back over to Allie. She is, first of all, going to take her first 2 actions just to complete this stupid tile. That took a long time. This gives her one of these ones, and she gets all those back. Okay, and she's got 1 action left. I think she's going to go ahead and place that there for her third action. Okay, back over to me. I have nothing to work on, so let's see, what can I do with these ones? I'm going to take this guy, and that will refill. That's my first action. My second action, that's going to be that and that. How about I take another of these black ones? How about I try and get an L piece? So that's my second action. And my third action, I'm going to do a master action. So I'll put this one here, and I'll put this one maybe here. Sure, why not? Okay, so yeah, either way, I'm going to have a little size 1 hole. Okay, so those are my 3 actions. Back to Allie. Allie she will take this one for 1 action. For her second action, she will do a master and put 1 there and 1 there. And then for her third, she is actually going to take, I forgot to refill it, she's going to take another tile because she can, for her next turn, she can do a master action and complete those 2. So she'll do that on her next turn and complete 2 on the same turn. So she'll take another tile. These are going to give her some straight ones and an elbow. Let's get her nice, big, expensive a black one worth 5 points. That was Allie's turn. Back to me. I will do a master action and play that there and that there. So boom, this one's done. So I get one of these long purples. So that was my first action. I already did my master though. I can't do that again. My second, let's take something. Take this one, sure. And then for my last one, oh, you know what? I'll take that one. That's great. For my master next turn, I'll complete that one quick and easy. All right, back to Allie. Maybe I'll just do a couple more turns and then I'll kind of fast forward. You kind of get the gist so you see how it works. Okay, Allie, she's going to want to do a master, first of all. She's going to complete both of those with her master action. So this gives her a purple one. And that one gives her a little elbow. Then she gets all those pieces back. Those 2 tiles are gone. So that was 1 action, was her master. Then she will, she will put one of those there. She will actually, maybe she'll take some more tiles. Then she'll have a big master action to start her next turn. So maybe she'll take this guy. And, how about she takes this guy? She'll see if she can use a square piece. Okay, maybe I'll just do maybe 1 more turn for each of us. Okay, back to me. I will do a master action. So I will do this one here. And I will do this one here. And this one here. So that was 1 action. I did a master. Then, and again, this one was complete. So that gives me a second of these purple tiles, which is nice. Then for action 2, maybe I'll complete this one. And that gives me the namesake of the game, an L, Project L. And then action number 3, maybe I'll put one right there. Okay. Then Allie, again, maybe the final turn before I kind of fast forward to what the game might look like at the end. Allie will take a master action. Let's see, she will maybe put that, no, sure, why not? She'll put that there, and she'll put that there, and she'll put maybe this up here. That was her master action for number 1. Action number 2, she'll complete that guy, which gives her a level 3 straight piece. And then for her third action, she will, let's say she's gonna put that there. All right, so then that was her 3 actions, and we'll just kind of slide those together. And you get the gist, right? So we're back and forth. We've already, so there's only 5 more, in the draw pile. So we're already, about halfway through, a little more than halfway through the game. So anyway, let me fast forward a little bit, show you what it's going to look like, and then I'll talk about, how the game is going to end with that final round and with the finishing touches and how that works. Okay, it's not quite the end of the game yet, but I just want to mention, so there's only 1 tile left here in the draw pile, right? The 1 puzzle tile here. So something that you just got to be thinking about, like if I take one of these black puzzle tiles, this will get revealed. That will trigger the end of the game because the draw pile is gone. So we would finish that round, and then we would just get 1 final round, right? So you got to think about the fact that any incomplete puzzles are going to count against you, okay? You will get finishing touches, which I'll come back to in a second, but you got to think like, am I going to be able to finish that, or am I going to just be losing a bunch of points? So that's something that you kind of think about, like, ooh, do I really want to take that and trigger the end of the game or not? So it's just one of those things to kind of be considering while you get, close to the edge or close to the end of the game. But you know what? I will say, sure, why not? Let's see if I can make it happen. So I will take this guy. No guts, no glory. I'll go big. Okay, so I emptied the drop pile, right? And so I triggered the end of the game. Okay, so at this point, if I wanted to, I could only take, with the take action, normally you can do as much as you want. But now that the game end is triggered, I could take no more than one of these per turn. Okay, at this point, I wouldn't want to take more than that, but that is a rule. Okay, so I took for my first action, then I'm going to do a master to try and get some of these spaces filled in here for my second action. And then my third action will be, I will put this one here. So I did a master, and I played one tile. Okay, so yeah, that was my end of my turn, and then it's to Allie. So we would finish this round again, and then we would get one final turn. So Allie is looking at, does she want to take something else, or if she did take something, could she still finish it and all of these? You know what? I think she might just be focused on trying to complete these tiles, or these puzzles rather. So for Allie's first turn, she will do a master, and she will put this here, and this here, and this here. Okay, so she completed this one. She gets another green. And then for her second action, she will put this here and complete this one, which gives her another one of these. And for her third, you know what? She'll take one just to show you how finishing touches work. She'll take this one, just a little 3-pointer. Okay, maybe that was dumb, but we'll see how it works out. Okay, so that was the end of the round, and now one final turn each at the end of the game. So first of all, I will do a master. So I'll put one here, and I will put one here. Okay, and then this one was complete. So I get another one of these purple ones. Then my second action, I will put that one there, and my final action, I'll put that one there. So, I mean, not that it matters, but I will get a piece there, and I completed everything, which is great. So Allie's going to see what she can do. So first of all, she'll do a master action. She will put this one here, and she will put, what's the best way to go? That one there, maybe? Could she do, yeah, she could do that. Okay. So that was one. And then for her master, that was one. Then action number 2, she'll do this one. And action number 3, she'll do this one, right? So this one was completed. And she gets the little tile there. And now the game is over, right? Although beforehand, you always can do finishing touches, okay? With finishing touches, you can continue to put, of your available pieces, you can put pieces into your incomplete puzzles at a cost of 1 point per piece that you place. She, of course, if she doesn't, she's going to lose 5 points. So it definitely makes sense for her to take a finishing touch to put this piece in there to complete that. Okay, so she will lose points. So this will be effectively just worth 4 instead of 5. But, you know, if she had multiple puzzles, it might make sense and they were close, to make it only worth, 3 or 2 or even 1 point instead of losing 4 points. So the finishing touches can help you to complete those puzzles, so you're not going to be, losing a whole bunch of points. Okay, that's the finishing touches. With finishing touches, it says you don't get any of the rewards, which could possibly matter because if there's a tie with score, the first tiebreaker is who completed more puzzles. And if it's still tied, who has more pieces is the next tiebreaker. Okay, if it's still tied, then you share the victory, which nobody ever likes to do. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so I didn't do any finishing touches, so I don't lose any points, and I don't have any incomplete puzzles, so I don't lose any points. So I would just add up my score. So I got 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 11, 12, 16, 19, 22, 27. So my score is 27. Okay, Allie had one finishing touch, so she's going to lose 1 point. Okay, so we'll just ignore that one. That takes care of the finishing touch. So I had 27. So 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 14, 16, 18, 21, 26. Oh, that was close. 27 to 26. And she could have had 27, but she had that finishing touch. So that's how it works. Again, if it were tied, if we tied at 27, the tiebreaker would be who completed more puzzles, which my stack is taller. I completed more. I would win the tiebreaker, right? And again, if it was still tied, then who has more pieces would be the second tiebreaker. But thankfully, I won. Woohoo! And that's how you play Project L. So maybe I'll just briefly talk about some of these expansion modules and some of the other content you would get if you have this deluxe edition with all this other stuff. Okay, let's talk about the finesse expansion. So if you remember, I showed this little tray up front. It has these finesse tiles, right, and the coins. Okay, so there's a bunch of A, B, and C finesse tiles. It says you take 2 each of the A and B tiles, and then 6 of the C tiles. You mix them all up and you lay them all out in a row. The first 2 are face down, then all the rest are face up. Okay, this is another game end timer. So again, the game is going to end either when like normal, when the draw pile of the black puzzle tiles runs out, or when you run out of these finesse tiles, because at the end of every single round, the leftmost tile is just going to get removed. Okay, so it's going to be effectively 10 rounds and then the game's over. Okay, so that's how it introduces another game end timer, right, with the finesse expansion. But what's going to happen is whatever the leftmost active tile is, it has a certain condition, and every time you meet that condition, you're going to get money based on what it has on the bottom of the tile, with these awesome, nice metal coins, which are pretty sweet. Okay, so for the first 2 rounds of the game with the tile face down, you're not going to be able to get any money. So round 1, nothing can be earned, and then this would get discarded. Round 2, nothing can be earned, and then this would get discarded. So you're kind of setting yourself up for these future finesse tiles. And then starting in round 3 of the game, you're going to have a chance to earn money. Okay, and with the money that you earn with these coins, it introduces one of those actions at the bottom, which is the insert action. So for every 2 coins that you spend, you can take an extra action on your turn. So instead of just 3 actions, you could get a 4th or a 5th or a 6th action, depending on how much money you spend. With the caveat that you can still only do 1 of the master actions per turn. Okay, but with these finesse tiles, again, it's always whatever the leftmost one is what you're working on. And there's pink ones that say every time I do this, I'm going to get what's on the bottom. So all these say just 1 coin, but there's some that give 2 or 3, coins. For instance, if you do the mission, that's on the finesse tiles. Okay, so the pink ones are every time you do this, you get a coin. The blue ones are basically at the end of the round, if you still have this, then you're going to get money. So for instance, this round, in round 3, for every one of these types of pieces that I place onto puzzle tiles that I'm working on, I'm going to get $1. Okay, so if I play, the yellow 1 or the green 2 or either the size 3 pieces, so maybe I did a master action and I played, these 2 pieces and one of these pieces, so maybe on a single action I placed 3 of those. So I met this condition 3 times, so I would get 3 coins, right? Because that's what my goal is, my finesse action for this turn, if that makes sense, right? So every time I do this, every time I place one of those pieces, I get the money, right? And then at the end of the round, this would go away, right? And then the next round, at the end of the round, every one of those pieces that I have, either in my supply or on unfinished puzzles, every one of those pieces that I own, I would get 1 coin. So if I have, over the course of the game, if I had, maybe accrued a couple of things, hey, I've got 2 L's and 1 square. So I would get 1 for each of them. So I get $3 again. Boom, boom, boom. So I get 3 more coins, right? And so that's how these finesse tiles work. Whatever the current round is, you're trying to do that something else to think about, right? But every time you do that, or either do that action or have those at the end of the round, you're going to get the money. And again, I could spend those $2 to take another action. That's that insert action that's listed on the player mat. So that's how the finesse works. And again, 1 goes away each round until 10 rounds are over, and then the game's over. Okay, so that's just another game end timer. So that's how that works. Okay, this is a variant way to play if you're playing with 5 or 6 players. It's called the line clear variant. Okay, so you would take the white and black puzzle tiles like normal, but instead of having just a single display of 4 puzzle tiles of each type, you would have 3 on each side of the stacks. Okay, then in the middle of the ones on the left, you put the little white stone. In the middle of the ones on the right, you put the black stone. Then the start player is going to get this white stone. And in a 5-player game, the 3rd player will get this, or in a 6-player game, the 4th player will get this one. So basically kind of the person in the middle of the turn order is going to get the black stone. then what happens is whoever are the ones holding the stones, it's their turn, and they play simultaneously, with one caveat. The person with the white stone can only play from these cards. The black stone can only play with these cards, but they take turns simultaneously, so it doesn't really slow down the game. Okay? There is one important caveat, though. The white player is the only one who can either draw from the cards or the stacks. And the white player is the only one who can also do that recycle where they wipe the slate clean and get new ones from the display. Okay? The person with the black stone cannot do that. They only can choose from the cards that are there. Okay? But then you just keep going until, again, when the game end is triggered, when the black puzzle cards run out, then basically you continue until the start player has once again received both stones. Okay? So it doesn't matter like where they are in the rotation. Once the game is triggered, once the start player has received both stones and taken a turn from each side again, then the game is over. And then you score it like normal. So this is one of those variant plays that you can do, if you like, for 5 or 6 players. Okay, the last of the expansion content that I want to talk about are basically the Ghost expansion and the Ambassador expansion pieces. So with the Ghost expansion pieces, you're going to see, with some of the puzzle tiles, with your reward, you're going to either get a chance to get a Ghost piece, or you're going to get a chance to get some upgrades. It could be a single upgrade, or it could be a double upgrade. Again, that would just be like doing the upgrade action. Okay, so one important thing to talk about with upgrades, the only way to get the Ghost pieces is with either completing tiles or by using the reward upgrades. You cannot just take a simple upgrade action to upgrade a regular level 4 piece into a Ghost piece. It has to be specifically a reward upgrade or a Ghost piece specifically for completing a tile. Okay, so once you have a Ghost piece, then an additional possible action is the Ghost action. So you can either just keep the Ghost piece the whole game and use it as is, for completing puzzles, because they're all bigger, they're size 5 pieces instead of just size 4. But the Ghost action lets you basically split up a Ghost piece into any number of smaller pieces that would comprise the same shape. So for instance, I could split this into this, right? So for a Ghost action, I could discard this and take these, or and maybe into this instead. I could take that, to get that same shape, or for this one, I could maybe take, a square and a single one, or for the C, I could turn it into something like that, so whatever combination you can think up, the Ghost action is get rid of the Ghost tile and take a matching shapes to, or shapes to fill the same, the same size and shape of the Ghost tile that you're discarding. So that's the Ghost action. And again, you get those Ghost tiles by either completing tiles or getting the upgrades to get them. You cannot just take a single regular upgrade action to get them. So those are the Ghost pieces. And then also with the Ambassador pieces, some of the tiles, it has this little M, okay? And that gives you a little Ambassador M, which is another possible action on your turn. So again, this doesn't give you a reward of a piece for completing this puzzle. What this lets you do is I basically, I set this aside with my completed tiles, and whenever I want, I can flip this over to take an additional master action. Okay, so if I have multiple of these M tiles, I could take multiple master actions on a single turn because that's the reward that this tile gives me. Okay, so again, that's, with these Ambassador tiles, if you have those, you could spend those to get an additional master action for spending that reward for your tile. So some more expansion content to think about that possibly include with your games. That's how they work. So that's Project L. As you can see, it's a really simple, straightforward game. It's take your 3 actions and keep going around the table doing 3 actions at a time until the game's over, right? And it may start kind of slow. You maybe need to do some of the puzzles slowly to get some of those extra pieces, or maybe do some piece upgrades. But then as you start getting more and more pieces, the turns just snowball and you do things faster and faster and faster. It's like somebody hits the gas and you accelerate towards the end of the game, and it comes a lot quicker than you would realize or you would expect. But it's a lot of fun. And it's one, every time we've introduced it to somebody, they've really enjoyed it and they've had a lot of fun with it. And hopefully this game or this video illustrates, why we've enjoyed it and maybe gives you an idea of whether or not it's something you'd like as well. And again, like I said up front, it's not the only reason why I did it, but because of the fact that this has traditionally been kind of hard to get, and the fact that there's a Kickstarter going on right now for the next couple of weeks. Again, this is end of April, beginning of May of 2025. So if you watch this video in the future, well, c'est la vie. But now's a chance to get this if you're interested. But hopefully this explains how to play and gives you a feel for whether or not you like it. And yeah, let me know if you have any other questions or comments. I appreciate the time and the willingness to watch. Once again, my name is Travis Monson with Once Upon a Board Game. Thanks a lot.